Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So I am Nur Anis Idayu binti Muhammad Noor and I will be your trainer for today's sessions. I'm very excited to guide you through this lesson and I hope by the end of it, you will gain a valuable knowledge and practical skills. Let's get started. Okay, first, this is the content outline from this lesson. Okay, what we will be gonna be learned. Okay, the first one is about intellectual properties and changing. The second one is intellectual property laws, and the third is search engines and online libraries. So we will get to know the several of the search engines and also online libraries. And fair use doctrine. Okay, maybe that terms is first time for all of you hear about it. Okay, so you will learn about fair use doctrine, international piracy, and the last part is analytical tools in the plagiarism. Okay, so what is the intellectual properties or the short name is intellectual properties. Okay, IP is refer to the something a person has either through or created some examples. Okay, some examples of the IP include like design, the process, okay, the song, okay, logos, discovery symbols, and even a brand new varieties of plants. Okay. IPs belong to the person, okay, who throw it up, or if they want to put the word into creating it, okay, so they get to decide who make it, okay, how and where it's used, and who can sell and profit from it. But nowadays, okay, how can thinkers and creators keep their intellectual property safe from the misuse by the others? Okay, because after all, in the digital world nowadays, okay, it's very easy to copy an ideas or design. So that's why, okay, there are laws, okay, in place to protect IP once a person is ready to publish with. Okay, so what definitions of property? Okay, if we watching on the slide, okay, property means that possession or something to which the owner has the right. So what the meaning of possession? Okay, possession means that ownership or having the control over the something to which the owner has legal or rightful claim, such as student. Okay, a student owning a laptop or a company having the rights to its logo and branding. Okay, let's say I give you the others examples for the personal matter, our personal matter. Okay, I give the names like Aisha. Okay, Aisha phone is her personal possession and no one is allowed to use it, okay, without her permission. Okay, so how about example from the academic perspective? Okay, let's say DA says that students submit or our submission, okay, is your intellectual possession. Okay, because the copying, if we copying the someone else work, we consider as a plagiarism. Okay, so this is the two example, the meaning from the property. Okay, from like I give you example from the personal and also academic. Okay, let's we take a look. Okay, so this is want to explain that only the person who owns the copyright, okay, has the right to copy, share, perform, or to turn their work, okay, like example book, song, or videos into something new. Okay, for example, only the author can allow their book to become a movie. Okay, so let's we take a look. Okay, the slide. Okay, this slide is explain about the copyright holders have 5 exclusive rights. You need to know what is the 5 exclusive rights, okay, for the copyright holders. Okay, the first one is to make a copy. The second one is to produce derivative words such as like translation from the movie, okay, into the other language, okay, based on books, okay, or movie. The third one is to distribute the copies. And the next is to perform the work in public. For example, the authors want to perform the music or maybe to play the instruments, guitar, pianos, and so on. And the last one is to display the work in a public. For example, artists, okay, they want to display their works, okay, the works of artworks, movie, in the cinema, computer games, video, or the website. Okay, next, this is the examples of organization that related to the intellectual property. Okay, the first one, we take a look about World Intellectual Property Organization, or the nickname is a WIPO. Okay, WIPO from the Geneva, Switzerland, and it was founded in 1977 as one of the specialized agency of United Nations organization, and they responsible for the protections of intellectual property. And so, how about Malaysia? Okay, Malaysia, of course, we have one of the organization that related to the intellectual property. Okay, the slide. Okay, if you see from the slide, MyIPO. Okay, MyIPO also known as Perbadanan Harta Intelek Malaysia. We always familiar with that name. Okay, so MyIPO prior to 1983, intellectual property rights, or the oldest name is IPR. Indonesia was administrative by the Pejabat Cap Dagangan dan Jamiah. Okay, so in the end, by years, okay, this office changed its name to the Pejabat Cap Dagangan dan Patent in 1983 and was placed under jurisdiction of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. There are three major parts to legal protections applying for the intellectual properties or IP. So the first one is a copyright. Okay, copyright protect works like art, music, writing, movies, and even though a software. Okay, the second one is a patent. Okay, patent, they will cover the things like intention to the new processes, new machines, and new ways of manufacturing. And the last one is a trademark. Okay, trademark will be cover a unique branding and identifies, okay, like the business name, business logo, slogan, mascot, and many more. Okay, so intellectual property is very important, it's very crucial for especially entrepreneurs, okay, in the competitive economy, okay, to be much more creative and innovative in bridging a new products and introducing a new processes. Okay, we looking at the first one of intellectual properties protection. Okay, the first one is a copyright. Okay, so what is a copyright? Copyright is a form of legal protection given to the creators of like original works who are known as the owners of the intellectual property. And how it applies? Okay, it applies to the expressions of ideas. Okay, whether what we're gonna say that whether the word is published or not. Once an original word is created and fits in a tangible form, okay, copyrights automatically exist. Okay, so this protection can apply to the various creative and artistic works, okay, such as book, articles, plays, instruments, song, movie, music, painting, photographs, and even the software. So I give you examples of the scenario. Okay, let's say a student writes and record an original song for the class project. Okay, even if it's not uploaded, okay, online or sold. So, but the moment it is recorded, okay, the student automatically holds the copyright, and no one else can legally use or reproduce the song without permission. Before this, we have learned about the 5 exclusive rights for the copyright owners. Okay, now we're looking at the copyright laws. Okay, the first one is a distribution right. So, what it defines? Okay, so the right to sell, to rent, lease, or otherwise distribute the copies of the work to the public. Okay, I give you examples. Okay, from the distribution right. Let's say one of the author write a novel and they want to sign a contract with the publishers. Only the publishers or the others authorized by the copyright owner has the legal right to print and sell the copies of the novel in the bookstore and online. Okay, so the second one is a public performance right. Okay, definition is the right to perform the copyrighted work in the public. Okay, for example, like a playwright owns the copyright to the play a music, play instrument maybe. Okay, and the other example is if they have the local theatre group, okay, must have or must get the permission. Okay, usually by paying the royalties, okay, to perform the play in front of an audience. Okay, the third is a public display right. Okay, so what is the meaning from the public display right? Okay, the right to show the copyrighted work publicly, directly, or through a device or process. Okay, for example, like let's say a photographer owns a copyrighted image. Okay, so a museum must get the photographer permission to display that photos in a public exhibit. Okay, and next is a reproduction right. Okay, the right to make the copies or reproductions of the work in any form. Okay, any kinds of form. Okay, for example, like musician, okay, record a song. Okay, no one can legally copy that song. Okay, such as if they want to burning a CD or maybe to upload digital copies without permissions from the copyright owner. Okay, is wrong. Okay, and the last one is a modification right. Okay, also we call as a derivative word right. Okay, so the right to adapt, to change, or to create a new word based on the original. Okay, for example, like novelists, okay, write a book that become popular. So a movie studio wants to turn the book into a film, they must obtain the copyright owner's permission to create this derivative word. Okay, the movie.
Today, it's easier than ever to explore media. Movies, songs, books, games, and pictures are available at a click. Sometimes we pay for them. Sometimes they're free. Sometimes there's a paid version and a free version. When we find media online for free, there are 3 reasons why that would happen. First, the artist chose to make it available for free. Sometimes when this happens, the artist is still getting paid through advertising that plays with their work. Or, artists might choose to share their work for free to build recognition for their name, or simply for the sake of sharing their work with others. That is every artist's choice. A second reason you might find media online for free is the work is in the public domain. This means the work is not subject to copyright protection. For example, maybe the work is so old that the copyright has expired. A final reason you might find media online for free is the work is being distributed illegally. What I mean is, someone has unlawfully posted the work without the creator or artist's permission. This is called copyright infringement.
But why should I care about copyright infringement?
Well, the purpose of copyright is to motivate artists and creators, including you and me, to devote time and resources to making new creative work. We care about protecting these rights because we want artists and creators to keep making new stuff. Plus, it's just fair. We don't want people taking our photos or videos without our permission and sharing them. So why would we do that to them? Part of being a responsible digital citizen is steering clear of copyright infringement. To do that, we need to understand what it is.
Show me what you mean.
Sure, I'll give you some examples. Passing around or sharing copyrighted media on peer-to-peer or torrent sites, especially sites that encourage uploading and downloading without permission, that's copyright infringement. Checking music CDs out from the library and copying them to your phone or MP3 player to add to your music library. That's copyright infringement. Same with watching or listening to the latest movies or songs, using sites that stream music and movies without the artist's permission. Sometimes it's tough to know if a site is legit or not. But if a movie just came out in the theaters and you find it streaming or for download for free, it's likely illegal and distributed without the creator's permission. And using file storage sites to allow your friends to download copies of your music library and movies is also a copyright infringement. File storage sites like Dropbox, Plex, or Google Drive are great for helping us keep track of all our important files. These might include our music and movies, but file storage sites should not be used as a means for sharing copyrighted creative work. These sites prohibit this kind of illegal sharing.
Hey, I think I know one. What about using a recording app to make copies of music from an online streaming service?
Right, that's infringement too. And guess what? There are benefits to avoiding infringement and searching out trustworthy sites instead. For starters, you know that you're getting your creative content legally from businesses that deal fairly with the artist or creators. It's the right thing to do. You also don't have to worry about getting caught and possible penalties you might have to pay for breaking the law. On top of that, illegal file sharing programs and sites often have malware and other bad stuff you don't want. When you use trusted sites, you don't have to worry about malware that could corrupt devices or dig for your personal information.
Okay, I get there are benefits to being a good online citizen, but sometimes it's hard to know where to go to get media legally. How can I find sites that respect artists' rights?
Click through to the next video to find out.
How long can copyright protection last? Firstly, for most literary, musical or artistic work, if the work is published while the author is alive, copyright lasts for the author's entire life and continues for 50 years after the author dies. For example, like if the writer dies in 2020, so their copyright will last until the end of 2070. Okay, so next part is if the work is published only after the author dies, copyright will be last for 50 years from the years it was first published. Okay, for example, if an artist they have painting, okay, it's published for the first time in 2035 after their death, okay, so the copyright will last until the end of 2075. 2035 add on 50 years, okay, so the last until the end of 2075. Okay, so next, the right side is about copyrighted from the Happy Birthday song. We know that Happy Birthday song is a most popular song in the English language, belongs to the Warner Music Group. Okay, so in that cases, okay, that's why we can conclude that, okay, that's why in the drama or films, the brand logos often been blurred. Okay, this is because of the promotion and sponsorship agreement. Okay, in that sponsorship agreements, if the films or drama does not have the promotion or sponsorship agreement with the brands whose logos are shown, okay, or maybe displaying the logos, may be considered unpaid promotion. So the decisions to blur the brand logo is a very creative choice made by the films or drama production team based on the various consideration. Okay, this is done to avoid any of disputes or misunderstanding. The second one parts from the intellectual property is the patent. Okay, patent one of intellectual property protection, okay, relating to the invention, to the new processes or new machine, okay, that made in the technical field, okay. So this is the several explanation from the patent. Okay, patent may be granted by government for the new, useful, and also we can say that non-obvious invention. Okay, patent also have the patent holders same like copyright holders. Okay, the right to stop the others from practicing the invention, okay, making, using, or selling without the permission of the inventor for a certain periods of the time. Okay, typically, if I'm not mistaken, around 20 years from the filing date of the patent application. Okay, so patents, okay, they allow you to prevent anyone from producing, using, or selling your invention unless you are paid for the privilege. Actually, patents cover a wide range of invention, innovations, and discovery across the various of fields. Okay, the first field I'm going to explain is technological invention. Okay, these include invention that related to the machine, electronic, software, telecommunication, okay, medical device, automotive technologies, and the others from the technological advancement. Okay, the second one is from the pharmaceutical invention. Okay, pharmaceutical is related. They also have the patents. Okay, they often cover a new pharmaceutical compound, drug formulation, methods of treatments, and even though medical device that used in the healthcare. Okay, the others is from the biotechnological invention. Okay, biotechnology patents will cover the innovation in fields such as like genetic engineering, biopharmaceuticals, okay, agricultural technologies, and also the bioinformatics. Okay, they have so many fields that related to the patent, invention, and innovation products. Okay, so in the slide, okay, they explain about the things that patents cover. Okay, they cover products or processes that possess or contain a new functional or technical aspect. Okay, they consist of 5 things that being considered from the patents: how things work, what they do, how they do it, what they are made of, and how they are made. Okay, so patent also have the protection. Okay, if we know that, okay, in the countries, okay, they have the 176 countries in the world that grant patents, permit the patenting of software that related to the invention. Okay, for example, like Amazon, Shopee, and the others of the e-commerce platform, okay, they have agreed to pay the IBM who holds the patents, okay, for the online catalogs, online advertisement, and also targeted advertisement.
It's Leonardo!
That guy is crazy.
It's not true! Are you looking for something? No,
He's a strange guy.
he's a very good guy. He helped me with my bike once. With this little balloon, it'll sound like a motorcycle.
Crazy! Crazy!
He's different, but he's not crazy.
Of course he's not crazy. He might even be more intelligent than all of us. He's an inventor.
An inventor? I don't believe it.
Why not?
You need to be wise to be an inventor, like the person who invented electricity, engines, computers.
There are all kinds of inventions, from the simplest to the most complex. Inventors are people who think about different problems and seek technical solutions for them.
And if their solution is new, then it's an invention.
My God, if you stop to think, almost everything has been invented.
Yes, mankind owes a lot to inventors.
Look! Those people are following Leonardo!
I know those guys. They are thieves. We should go with the crazy guy.
He's not crazy! What could he be carrying in the box?
An invention, I guess. I have a friend that will know how to protect inventors.
Julie!
I'll call it right away. Julie, it's Marco. I'm with Bobby and Ping Pong following Leonardo the inventor because he's being followed by some thieves that seem to want to steal his invention.
Where are you?
Around the Central Avenue, close to the Sun Plaza.
I'm close. Leonardo, jump on, quick!
What a good invention motorcycles are.
You, fat boy, what are you laughing at?
Me? I was telling my friend a joke about a parrot that...
Ah, shut up.
I know where Julie and Leonardo will be. Let's get a taxi. To the patent office.
What is a patent?
It's a type of certificate that the state grants to an inventor. The patent gives the inventor the exclusive right to exploit his invention.
The period depends on each country. It's generally 20 years.
We're here. And if the invention is not completely new, but part of one is changed?
That's called a utility model and is also protected.
Also protected?
Of course, that is if the change provides a new use, advantage, or purpose to the object. Another means of protection is by an industrial design, which is given to the object.
Ah, the design is key.
And who has more rights? The inventor or the one that files a patent application first?
In most countries, it's the person filing the application. That's why it's important to patent inventions immediately.
I see. Patent applications are extremely important.
And what must an invention have to be worthy of a patent?
Usually there are 3 requirements: novelty, inventiveness, and industrial applicability.
Slow down, please.
First, novelty, or that the invention is unknown. Second, inventiveness, meaning that it is not obvious to those who know the technical field of the invention. Third, industrial applicability. The invention may be produced or used industrially.
Julie, I think my invention meets the requirements.
What is Leonardo's invention?
I don't know. It must be something very useful for mankind.
Something worth a lot of money. By the way, who's entitled to the rights? The inventor or the person who owns the patent?
The person who owns the patent, because the inventor might have transferred his rights.
Can the rights be transferred?
Of course, the patent is a title that can be sold or licensed.
I'll show you my invention.
Is it a lamp?
It looks like it. It's a trap to control insects.
Leonardo, your invention will be very useful for farming.
I would like it to help people. We're here!
Now I'll go in and snatch the invention before the kid patents it. Here you go. Thank you. Hey kid, how about I go with you to patent that work?
No way! He's the one that was following...
Police! Police!
Friends, Leonardo has just filed his application to patent his invention.
Bravo!
Tell me, what did you write on the door you stopped on?
Ah, that! It's nothing. I thought that the lock could be covered. It keeps thieves away and it's decorative. Look.
It's nothing. You can patent that too.
As well? My God, I have so many ideas.
Patents don't only protect your inventions, but also provide you with benefits.
Inventors! Patents!
Okay, so this is the patterns on web technologies that related with the innovations of internet, website, online services, and also digital communication. Okay, so they consist of several areas, okay, where the pattern may be sought in the world of web technology. For example, is e-commerce platform, search engine algorithms, cloud computing. Do you know cloud computing? Okay, for example, like Google Drive, OneDrive, and many more. Okay, social networking, like social media platform, user interface, UI, and even though UX. Okay, user experience. Okay, All of that patents can cover the innovation, the user interface design, the interactive elements, the navigation system, responsive web design techniques, and accessibility features that aim at enhancing the user experience on the website and web application. Next, this is a trademark, also one of the intellectual property protection. So what is a trademark? Okay, we are always familiar with these terms. Okay, trademark is a distinctive sign which is used to distinguish the product or service of different of businesses. Okay, the examples from the trademark is a word, name, face, logo, image, symbol, design, slogan, or combinations of these elements. Okay, and then they will be secured by the legal registration that identifies a manufacturer's or traded products or service from the other products and services. Okay, mostly all of the trademark represented by two symbols, TM and R. Trademark is different from the copyright and also patent. Okay, we know that copyrights provide protections for an artistic or like literary work. Okay, patent provide the protections for an invention, for the new processes, new invention, new machines. But trademark is being enforceable, in state court as well as federal court. Okay, it's two different things. Okay, from the copyright and also from the patent. Okay. Trademark also have the trademark owners. Only the owners of the trademark can register the trademark. The owner can be like individuals, the partnerships, or the whole company. Okay. So next, we're looking at the two symbols that very famous in the trademark: TM versus R. Okay. TM is what you can put on a product before it is actually registered. Okay. So with the TM, you are making a claim that you are the first to use the wording or symbol in the business. Okay. R is registered. Okay, means that you have proven it from the government officials, etc. Okay. So for example, like FNN company, okay, one of the sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, FN seasons, okay, the product offers, and many of them may carry the registered trademark. Okay, which is the trademark symbols to signify their protected status. Okay, and also if you hearing about the issues between the supporters of the Malaysia's notable influencer like Khairul Aming. Okay, we know that Khairul Aming is the founder of Sambal Nyet Berapi and the fans of the Sambal Nyet Khairi. Okay, the two influencers Sambal. Okay, actually netizens keeping up spread the issues from the two different brand of Sambal Nyet. Okay, a product that published by the new entrepreneurs, okay, which is Sambal Nyet Khairi. Okay, netizens have raised the concern about Sambal Nyet Khairi, which appears to the mirror of Khairul Aming's successful Sambal Nyet Berapi, which is in both name and packaging of the design. Okay, they like that Sambal Nyet Khairi copycat from the Sambal Nyet Khairul Aming. Okay, but some argue that there is no infringement as Sambal Nyet Khairi use a different recipe and taste, despite having the similar packaging and similar surrounding name. Okay, so which is this debate has spilled onto the various of the social media platform and has caught the attentions of the business expert. Okay, so in the end, we can conclude that they have drawn the parallels between this situation and also the several international brands, okay, that have seen copy paste very wider, okay, in the world, such as Adidas, Asahi, Panasonic, and the others. Okay, next we go through to the search engine and online libraries. Okay, so this quote is from authors of T.S. Eliot, okay, from the chorus from the rock. Okay, so this quote is highly relevant in the digital age. Okay, because of people nowadays often Google things quickly but don't observe or understand what they find. So by having the access to the endless information doesn't mean that we become smarter or wiser. Okay, we must use digital tools mindfully. Okay, so in this topic, okay, we will go through details what is the search engine and also the online libraries. Okay, for example, like in Malaysia, we have the Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, National Library of Malaysia. So this place is the main library in Malaysia and offers and very extensive collections of books, journals and digital resources. Okay, they also provide online platform, okay, to various digital collections and database, and they also provide a free ebook lending platform offered by the National Library of Malaysia in collaboration with Central Methods, if I'm not mistaken, PNM Elite, okay, which is all of them, okay, all of it can borrow the book through the online. And the others examples of the libraries is University Malaya Library as one of the leading university in Malaysia. Okay, UM has a comprehensive library system that includes online resources accessible to the student, faculty and researcher. Okay, and the others is from like UITM Library Portal, okay, which is UITM Library Portal is one of e-repository online platform where the university's scholarly outputs, including the research articles, thesis, dissertation and conference papers, which is all of it achieved and made accessible to the public. Okay, is Google enough compared to the others? Okay, we know that Google is generally quicker than the others of the search engine at bridging back the result. It's able to deliver millions of results in 19 of a second. Okay, Google Scholar. How about Google Scholar? Google Scholar is one of valuable tools for academic research, but whether it's enough compared to the other resources depends on the specific needs and requirements of the researcher. Okay, so how about the comparison between Google and the ChatGPT? You know that ChatGPT is one of the AI research tools. Okay, so which one much better? Okay, so if we asking the questions to all of the student, to field of the student will say that ChatGPT is the winner. Okay, I myself am one of academician will choose ChatGPT comparing to Google and the others. Okay, ChatGPT is like you want to compare apples and orange. Okay, apple and orange, so they serve the different purpose and excel in different domain. So which one is a better depends on what you are trying to accomplish. Okay, if you need to quickly find information or search for a specific content on the web, Google is likely the better choice due to its vast, in-depth and powerful search algorithms. If you looking for we're going to say that assistant with writing, generating the ideas, engaging in conversation, or you want to creating a content, ChatGPT may be more suitable as it can provide more personalized and contextually relevant responses. This is the intellectual property laws in Malaysia. Okay, they consist of several. Okay, and the famous one is Intellectual Property Corporation of Malaysia Act 2022, trademarks, patents, copyright. Okay, all of these law aims to incentivize innovation, creativity, and also advancement by granting all of the creators and innovators exclusive right to their intellectual property. Okay, and then enforcement of the intellectual property rights in Malaysia is what we're gonna say that overseen by various government agencies, including the Intellectual Property Corporations of Malaysia, MyInfo, that I have mentioned before this, and the enforcement authorities, for example, like PDRM, Custom, and many more. Okay, and the others is violations of IP rights. Okay, so this is can lead to the severe remedies, okay, such as like injunction and also penalties, as well as criminal penalties, including the fines and imprisonment. Okay, next, we learn about fair use doctrine. Okay, so what is a fair use doctrine? It's a doctrine in the US laws. Okay, fair use is limitations and exceptions to the exclusive right that granted by copyright law to the author of the creative work. In US copyright law, fair use is a doctrine that permits limited use of copyrighted material without acquiring permissions from the right holders. Okay, they have several examples from the fair use doctrine. Okay, the first one is a school work education and like educational purposes. Okay, we also have the research and scholarship, criticism and review. Okay, so in these cases, okay, to determine whether you are within the fair use, the law calls for the balanced application of 4 patterns. Okay, you can see from the slide number 4. Okay, on the right side. Okay, so the right side is explain about the fair use originated in the United States. Okay, they have 4 factors considered. Okay, so this is include the purpose and nature of use. Okay, the commercial, less likely or non-profit purposes. The second one is about the natures of copyrighted work, amount of significance or portion use. The third one is effect of use on potential markers of value of the copyright work. Okay, the next one is a single factors alone determines, and the last one is not all of the factors given the equal weight, varies by the circumstances. Okay, so from that, okay, we can conclude that it's very important to note that fair use is a flexible and context-specific doctrine that depends on these 4 factors. Okay, which is each use of the copyrighted material must be evaluated on a case-by-case basis to determine whether it qualifies as the fair use. Okay, so it can be ridiculed. Okay, so these fair use cases want to inform that how the way we want to differentiate between the parody. Okay, we want to make a joking about someone books. Okay, how to make a judgment. Okay, how to using our careers. Okay, and how we want to doing something else. Okay, so this is related to the, for example, like for the context of politics. Okay, caricatures. Okay, caricatures is issues that highlight the complex interplay between the freedom of speech, artistic expression, okay, and ethical consideration. Even though caricatures can be powerful from of social commentary and artistic expression, but it very important, especially for the producer or creators, when they want to approach their careers. Okay, they need to be very clear about something that they want to put it on. Okay, and then they need to be responsible how to minimize the risk, the dangers, and if they want to promote the dialogue that's very builders. This is example scenarios of fair use doctrine. Okay, let's we take a look. The first one. Okay, the scenario is, okay, I'm read the scenario. Okay, a student used a pictures of a frog that she found through a Google search for her PowerPoint presentation in her introduction to the biology class. So the question is it fall under the protection of fair use? So we need to looking back the 4 factors of the fair use doctrine, the 4 factors that being considered whether it's fair use or not. Okay, so that's why all of the 4 factors being applied in this scenario. Okay, the first one is purpose. Okay, the purpose for the academic presentation. Natures of work. Okay, in this case, image from the National Geographic, which is from the Google. Okay, so amount of the use is 1 image, only 1 image from the article. So the answer is yes. It is a fair use because no effect on the future value. Okay, no filter, no editing. Okay, so next we go through to the second scenario of the fair use. A teacher scans 3 complete chapters from the textbook to put on the course reserve in the library, so all of his students won't have to buy the textbook. So is it fall under the protection of the fair use? Okay, we take all of the 4 factors considered. Okay, the first one is the purpose for the educational, technically for the educational. The second one is the nature of work, textbook, okay, where the sources come from, okay, from the textbook. And the third is amount of use. Is the teacher said that 3 chapters, okay, she mentioned that 3 chapters, and the answer is no, definitely no, because negative effect on the financial gain for the creator. Okay, so the teachers has breaking the copyright law. In Malaysia, like in many other countries, issues related to the copy and sharing can arise in various contexts, okay, including education, entertainment, and also digital content. For example, in the academic plagiarism, okay, as I mentioned, okay, plagiarism is a significant concern in academic setting in Malaysia. Students may copy the content from online source or the other students' work without proper attributions, and it gives the effect of violating the academic integrity policy. So these issues can affect the credibility of educational institutions and the quality of education. And the others is plagiarism in or from the journalism. Okay, for example, like journalists and media organization may face issues related to the copying and sharing content without the proper permissions. Okay, these can occur in the forms of uncredited use of quotes, image, or information from other sources, compromising like journalistic ethics and also integrity. The others is examples from like digital content sharing, like social media platforms and messaging apps are commonly used to share digital content, including photos, videos, and articles. However, sharing copyrighted materials without permissions can infringe on the rights of content creators and publishers, and the ends leading to potential legal consequences. Okay, and the other example is intellectual property theft. Okay, so Malaysian business especially may experience intellectual property theft, okay, where the competitors or individuals copy and share proprietary information, trade secrets, or innovative ideas without authorization. So this can result in financial loss or maybe loss of competitive advantage, and also give damage to the reputation of the affected businesses. And the others is educational materials sharing. Because of why sharing educational materials, it can facilitate learning and collaborations. Unauthorized sharing of like copyrighted textbook, lecture notes, or course materials may infringe on the rights of authors and publishers. So this issue is relevant in the context of online learning platforms and digital materials. Okay, so next we go through to the DRM, or it stands for Digital Right Management. DRM is a collection or set of technologies, methods, and also protocol for control access and usage of digital content such as like software, music, movie, ebooks, and also games. Okay, DRM systems are designed usually to protect the intellectual property rights of content creators, copyright holders, and also distributors. Okay, by preventing unauthorized copying, distributions, and also modification of the digital content. Okay, so in the DRM, it consists of several key components. what is the software piracy? Okay, software is considered as a literary work. Okay, so it consists of the main categories of copyright software piracy. So the unauthorized copying and distributions of the software, including like computer programs, games, and also application, so is prevalent and in Malaysia. Okay, so software piracy deprives developers and companies of the rightful revenues and undermines Malaysia's reputation as a hub for innovations and technology development. The other is media piracy. Okay, media piracy is piracy of the movie, music, and the other digital media is also widespread in Malaysia. And then it facilitated by the illegal streaming website like the Lim movie from Telegram and so on. It also consists of torrenting and counterfeit, okay, DVDs or CD. This practice not only violates copyright law, but it can blur and it can give the big, huge impact for the entertainment industry by depriving artists, producers, and also distributors. Between 2020 until 2022, countries that consistently identified as having high rates of software piracy is China, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Pakistan. Okay, these countries often face common challenges such as like limited enforcement resources, cultural attitudes toward the intellectual properties, and they lack of public awareness campaign, and also economic factors that contribute to the high software piracy rates. Okay, these countries often have the large populations, widespread use of the smartphone, and also limited access to the official app store involved into the Android piracy. Okay, for example, like China. Okay, we know that China has the large populations of the smartphone users and significant markets for Android application. But due to these factors such as restrictions on the Google service and the availabilities of alternative app store with the pirated apps, for Android apps very highest in China. So it's important to note that piracy is illegal and undermines the rights of application developers, content creators, and also right holders. So this is important educations on copyright compliance, technological solutions to protect against piracy. Okay, next, this is protecting software copyrights. Okay, the example is Microsoft product activation. Okay, is an anti-piracy technology that designed to verify that the product has been legitimately licensed. Okay, so this technology is aimed at reducing software piracy as well as ensuring that Microsoft customers are receiving the product quality that they expect. Okay, when you install the Microsoft Office, you are prompted to enter a product key. So once you do, Microsoft will check online to verify it. If the key is valid and not overused, so the software is activated and you can use all its features without restriction. In order to protect the software engineering industry, BSA, Business Software Alliance, was established, which is to protect any of software piracy in Malaysia. So BSA was founded by a group of computer software in the world to deal with the illegal software. So the Software Alliance is a global industry group that fight against the software piracy and promotes the legal software use. In Malaysia, BSA has actively worked with the local authorities and business to enforce the software license laws. Okay. For example, it recap some of the case in the past year, BSA actually collaborated with the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs (KPD and HEP) in Malaysia to rate company using the unlicensed software. Okay, so I shared with you guys example of the incident which is that happens one of the company in Selangor found using unlicensed versions of Microsoft Office, AutoCAD, and also Adobe software. So this we want to mention that the rate was part of BSA campaign to encourage businesses to legalize their software usage. RIM stands for Recording Industry Association of Malaysia. So it is a key organization that represents the interests of music recording companies and music industry in Malaysia, which is they protect music copyright and fight piracy. So what they do, okay, they manage the music licensing and royalty collections via PPN, if I'm not mistaken. And the second one, they also promote the Malaysian music and local artists, support industry standards and development, okay, and they also represent the music producer in Malaysia. So if a radio station wants to play song by local or international artists, they need to get a license via PPM or this RIM and pay the fees. So RIM ensures these fees go back to the music right owners. This is last part for our lesson, okay, today. So this is an analytical tool in the plagiarism. Okay, so there are several analytical tools like Turnitin, Grammarly, Qtext, Copyscape. Okay, so example of the scenario that I want to share with all of you is like a university student, okay, submit a research paper through the campus learning portal. So the lecturers will use Turnitin to scan for the plagiarism. Turnitin compares the paper to its large database of academic content and show a similarity report. Okay, they will have the percentage, how many percentage of the plagiarism, and highlighting any copy session. Okay, so the others is, okay, this is the Turnitin. Okay, the second one is a Grammarly. Okay, I think all of you always using the Grammarly for check grammars, plagiarism, and so on. So for example, like office worker is, okay, one of the office workers writing a business email to the client. So she used the Grammarly to check her grammar, spelling, and tone before sending it. So Grammarly suggests the clearest sentences structures and flags any awkward phrasing. Okay, and the third one is a Qtext. Okay, Qtext is easy to use plagiarism checker that combine deep search technology with the contextual analysis to detect and highlight the duplicate content. Okay, for example, like freelancer writer wants to make sure their blog spot is original before submitting it to the client. So they copy and paste the content into the Qtext, okay, which Qtext will check for the plagiarism and give the plagiarism percentage and highlights match text. And the last one example is Copyscape. Okay, Copyscape, for example, like web developers. Okay, one of the web developers, he want to upload a new content to the company website. So they use Copyscape to check whether any parts of the text have been copied from other website or whether others have copied from theirs to avoid SEO penalties.
Every self-publisher needs to have tools that minimize effort and increases production value. That's why today, I am providing a simple and easy solution. Welcome to Grammarly. Grammarly acts as a writing enhancement platform that specializes in analyzing all of the text you type. It is highly intelligent and makes sure that every paragraph, every sentence, every word is easy to read effectively, clear, and mistake-free. It's created and developed by some of the world's leading linguists. Well, that sounds interesting, but how do I use it? I'm glad you asked. It's actually really easy. Let me explain. First off, we have a browser extension, a mobile app, plugins for Microsoft Word and Outlook. simply install our plugin, and Grammarly gets straight to work on the spelling and grammar of all the content you write. So how much does it cost? That's the best part. Absolutely nothing. Check us out at Grammarly.com to learn more.
Thank you for your attention and thank you so much for listening. I hope that the lesson was informative and enjoyable, and I also hope all of you can learn something new and have fun.